Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Korner Booth podcast. I am your host, Jared Clem, alongside my co-host, Savannah Dean, back from her 3-week exploration around the Caribbean. How was the cruise, Savannah? Are you enjoying yourself?
Yeah, it was great. The first week I was with a bunch of friends, and then the second week I was with my mom. So I went from being wild to being super chill, which I needed. So it was nice.
So it was good. You didn't go all the way foot to the gas and then have to stop immediately and go back to work. So you know what? Honestly, that might be the best way about going about things
Yeah,
on a
it
vacation.
felt long. It was a long vacation because I was gone for 17 days, but now I'm like, darn, I'm back in the cold. I don't want to be here.
I mean, you did miss some of the best college basketball I've ever seen.
I mean, I watched the games. They
I
were
know
on
you watch the games while you're on. I know, but it's it was different. Of course, my Tar Heels went down to one fucking busted floorboard. I don't want to talk about it.
the
But you know what's so crazy? The NFL news this offseason has never stopped. I feel like we had a lull, I think, last week. Where I had Yuri on the show do our mock draft. I think I texted you about it later while we were finishing up, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, besides unfortunately Dwayne Haskins passing away, there's no NFL news for the last 2 weeks.
Right.
As much as I say that, Kyler Murray finds his way back in the news. So that's our first story. So we have a big show today. Obviously, we have my boy Parker from Midweek Midrange and FN Sports. He'll be coming on to talk a little NBA basketball because my Timberwolves and Savannah's Bucks are both in the playoffs. My Timberwolves are hoping to go up 2-0 tonight. Savannah, your Bucks are playing tonight as well or tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Okay. So lucky for me, I don't have work tomorrow, so I can actually stay up and not have to suffer. During the playing game, I had to be up at 5:15 the next morning. And I'm getting a text from my one of my former co-hosts. He goes, "Dude, this game's insane." I'm like, "Bro, I'm sleeping. I don't care. We're losing." And he goes, "No, you guys are winning." And I turned the TV back on for the last 5 minutes of the game.
Oh my gosh. I do that too, though. I get so tired and I'm like, you know what? This is worth it. I have to watch it.
Well, I knew I was gonna be miserable the next morning, so I just said, "Screw it. I'm not gonna stay up for this because it's I'm gonna pay for it tomorrow." But
Right.
it turned into this whole thing of you know what? It's like a once in a lifetime thing. It's like my Timberwolves haven't been I don't count the Jimmy Butler year because they had to play the Buzzsaw Rockets. And I'm like, yeah, we're not doing anything. I felt dead inside anyway. I was also still nursing my Eagles Super Bowl hangover, so I just didn't care. But
Right.
also, Jimmy Butler, I didn't forgive Jimmy Butler until he got to Miami because then him and Cat reconciled and everything else. But it's like, Jesus,
Right.
this team feels like a team I can root for, which is kind of nice. But we also have, ladies and gentlemen, making his first return to the Korner Booth, the actual Korner Booth, since last August. We have Kevin from Talegate in the Quad coming to talk college football spring games. Tom Herman singing Justin Bieber to a recruit. More Penn State scandals because, we are. And much more. It's going to be a fun time with Kevin. Also, we might get him to stick around and do Korner with Dartboard. So, Savannah, by the end of the show, you have to figure out somebody or something in sports to slam on the middle of that dartboard that you want to just throw darts at for a couple hours, okay?
Okay.
Last week, I did LeBron James for him talking shit about Minnesota when he'd even make the playoffs. So, I'm petty like that. All right. Speaking of petty, Kyler Murray of FaZe Clan literally is in the news again. I thought we put this to bed on my birthday, so about a month and a half ago. Kyler Murray is now saying he's going to be out of voluntary workouts, which I mean isn't a huge deal, but the matter of the fact was he wanted a deal done by draft day. Now, the whole Kyler Murray saga is weird to me, only because the Cardinals are kind of in a weird spot. Like, they're not good enough they could definitely go get a quarterback in the draft, but are they really going to want to let Kyler walk? Are they going to want to try to trade him and just see if they can go at this again? Because their option before this was Josh Rosen. Savannah, I think you and me have higher completion percentages than him in the NFL. It gets worse because now Kyler is sitting there demanding this huge contract, and you just saw the Browns screw over every NFL front office by chucking $230 million guaranteed at Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
So Which is, I swear to God, I think Andrew Berry is on every NFL team's dartboard because that was the dumbest thing I'd ever seen in my life. And also, that would have changed everything. Apparently, that was the only reason Deshaun Watson went with Cleveland, because apparently he wanted to go
there's
to
no way. He
He
came out and said he didn't want to play for them, and then he signed with them with all that money.
Well, you saw in the background when he was laying out his Browns jerseys, there was a Falcons one in the background, which definitely meant that was the backup team, which I would love to bust on Chris for hours, how the Saints were never his number one favorite. But, that's just cheap shots. That's like taking a layup at this point. So Kyler Murray, Savannah, you saw the letter his agent posted about back during Super Bowl time. Now we're back at it again. I don't see Kyler moving on. I see this just being an ugly ass season for very tense. I think he's gonna play, but how are you looking at this Kyler situation?
I think I hate to say this just because I feel like I've never came out and said this about a quarterback before, and it kind of probably involves my quarterback too. I think they're being childish. You're literally, you have a team that's willing to pay you, like, no one has to be the highest paid quarterback. He's not the best quarterback in the league. Like, he doesn't deserve $50 million a year like Patrick Mahomes and Rodgers do. Mm-hmm. It's just kind of like, I don't understand the reason why voluntary workouts. Okay, I get it. But if you're going to push it through training camp and like preseason and stuff, then you're getting a little too far. So we're just going to have to see like how he acts. I don't think he has, I just don't think it's a good idea. I don't think he's playing it very well. The Cardinals don't have very many options. It's not like they can just go out and like randomly sign someone. So I think they're going to have to fall into where he's playing into. But it's just the fact that I think he's acting like a child. Like, he was going to get a new contract anyways, but now you want $50 million a year probably, since other quarterbacks are getting that. I don't think he like even deserves that, which I know he thinks he deserves that, but I don't think he does. And I think the Cardinals, along with probably most of the league, could agree that he doesn't deserve that.
My biggest thing, I've never been a Kyler Murray fan. So when I saw the possible teams he could go to via Pro Football Focus and CBS Sports, number 2 is my Philadelphia Eagles. I held up my cross and did the exorcism thing. Like, no, keep his bullshit away from my locker room.
Right.
Why I love Jalen Hurts is because he's the opposite of Kyler Murray. Yeah, he may not have a cannon arm like Murray. I literally look at Jalen Hurts like a poor man's Russell Wilson with better speed. That is what he is. Russell has never had the best arm, but he's accurate. He's the hardest worker in the room. He always has been a good player for Seattle, not Denver. So that's how I look at Hurts. Hurts is the hardest guy in the room. He's a leader. He leads by example. He's a fiery guy, yada, yada, yada. Kyler Murray, to me, scares the shit out of me if I'm a GM or a coach. Yes, Cliff Kingsbury's attached to him at the hip. We get it. But my biggest problem is that I don't understand where all of this is coming from. I understand where actually it's coming from. It's the fact that he's basically been like, he never lost in high school. I don't think he lost in college into the playoff. And then, or at least in the state of Texas. And on top of that, he gets drafted number 1 overall. Mm-hmm. He's the savior of a franchise who was dumb enough to draft Josh Rosen. He's like handpicked with Cliff Kingsbury, arguably the most handsome coach in sports. And that man is a 6'3" Texan. Like, damn, he is an intimidating dude. I didn't realize how big he was until I saw him next to McAfee live in studio. I was like, oh, really? Dude, he's a big boy. Like, he's 6'3", 200 pounds. He's a big dude. And he doesn't look at, he's next to every other NFL athlete. But what cracks me up about all of this is that I look at Kyler Murray. I look at everything he has kind of done in the league. And I don't think any of it warrants, like you said, a top 5 contract. But these guys all think they should be, it's the next man up. The next guy gets paid. Doesn't matter how good they are. But at a certain point, we've been saying this for years, because the Joe Flacco contract still cracks me up to this day, because he gambled on himself and won. Kurt gambled on himself and won. Why isn't Kyler gambling if he believes in himself? Yeah. Also, and the other thing is, he's not a leader. The whole pouting on the sideline thing when they're getting thumped by the eventual Super Bowl champions, not a great look. like the whole like the agent doing all this shit's not. This whole situation I feel like is going to keep the Cardinals out of the playoffs. To me, I think that you are going to have like only maybe one or two teams out of the NFC West this year, whereas last year you had three, and it just I really feel like unfortunately for the Cardinals that they're going to eat themselves alive over this. It's going to be an issue.
I think it's going to cause a lot of. I think it's going to cause a lot of problems because you're right. I don't really see him being very much of a leader for that team, anyways. Like, yeah, like him and Hopkins look like they are buddy and stuff like that. But you don't ever you see a lot of teammates like, and I'm just doing this with like you see a lot of teammates like chucking it up with Aaron Rodgers on social media and out and like stuff like that. You never see that with Kyler Murray, and I just think that he's going to cause rifts like in the organization if he continues to act the way that he's acting.
All right. So this man is going to talk NBA playoffs with us in about 10 minutes, but he has some opinions on Cliff Kingsbury quick before he gets in here. Quick news before we get Parker in. AJ Brown, Scary Terry, and Debo all demanding all are also holding out of involuntary workouts. The only one who I think has no leg to stand on is Debo.
Yeah.
Only because Debo was made by Shanahan's offense. I love Debo as an athlete. I think he's great. But you need a creative OC to get him. Am I off base there?
You need to create a what?
A creative offensive coordinator like Shanahan.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, quick. Did you watch any? Well, I'll wait for this topic, but the match. Your boy's in it again. Year 2. Listen, I'm a big Rodgers guy because of McAfee, but my boy Josh Allen's in it. Kermit the Frog's also in it, and Tom Brady. It's gonna be a fun time. My boy Scott Kaiser was complaining about that from Craft Brew Sports, complaining about this yesterday, and I said it's only gonna be entertaining for if Jackson caddies for Patrick. I think that is I want that as must see TV. His TikTok dancing and Patrick is chucking clubs at him, but apparently Josh Allen can hit a ball like 500 yards, and I want to see.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised.
That boy is just country strong. I need to see this right now. So. Well, welcoming in host of the Midweek Midrange podcast and Effin Sports, one of my favorite sneakerheads and teachers. This man once told me that has already been heckling my Timberwolves, and he is a Texan through and through. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Parker Ainsworth. Let's go, hey Parker!
I like that introduction, especially after I gave you a hard time with the Timberwolves, and they've done very well.
Listen, I gotta defend my boys always.
Speaking of defending boys, I feel like I have to point out that Kyler Murray is like a Texas high school football legend.
Oh, I know.
like the folklore around this like short kid from Allen, which is like a suburb of Dallas, didn't lose a high school game. Like, you know, the classic in 20 years until he threw a football a country mile. But my hot Cliff Kingsbury take is if he looked like Mike Leach, he'd already have been done. Right, like
no, you're not wrong.
This is entirely privilege of good looking, right? Like there's no
how this about guy... the Pirate. Listen, I'm a big Mike Leach defender, but watch what you say about the Pirate. But listen, like, no, yeah, Cliff Kingsbury had no business getting an NFL job, and he's done okay so far. He needs to make it past the first round this year, or we have a big problem with him keeping his job. Well, lucky for NFL teams, they don't have to keep coaches for the full contract. Hey, let loose if it's a bad year. So that's Doug Peterson, how that went.
I worked with guys that were at Tech with Kingsbury while he was both a coach and then a little bit older guys that were there when he was a player. And he is I'm sure a great time by all accounts. And frankly, knows how good looking he is. I don't know how he would have a job otherwise.
That man's the son of a Marine too. I didn't know that until he was on my boy McAfee's podcast and he was talking about it. And just Cliff Kingsbury to me just cracks me up because there are about 5 NFL coaches. I don't understand how they have a goddamn job. And Lovie Smith's not one of them, by the way, because I understand completely what the Texans are doing. Your Texans.
covering is.
No. They're basically grooming Josh McCown to be the next head coach, which I endorse because I love Josh McCown. You know, he played for my Birds. He kept us alive in that Seattle game. He is a legend in Philadelphia with a torn hamstring. He played an entire game. Suck it, Carson.
Oh my gosh.
Just a little headbanger from Clowney. It's not too bad. Yeah, Jadeveon Clowney, literally one of the hardest hitting guys in NFL history. Anyway, yeah, I think the Texans honestly are going to be okay. But what cracks me up about Cliff Kingsbury is that he's an okay coach with great personnel, but yet has been given so much leeway by the Cardinals organization. And
but
it
Jared,
cracks me up.
When he's like wiped his nose with the shirt, have you seen the abs? Like, gotta give him a chance.
Okay. I'm drinking a Busch Light. I have a pack of Canada Dips in my lip. I just worked as a contractor. There is nothing 6-pack about me, kid. I'm trying, okay? I'm right down 25 pounds since Christmas, but shit.
Good for you.
It's hard.
Good for you.
Yeah. I went from 255 to 235. It's like, I'm still a monster dude. It's okay though. But I fully accept the fact that I'll never have a 6-pack like Kingsbury. That's just genetic, motherfucker. I don't care what you tell me. But listen, speaking of just it's not going to happen or maybe kind of a failure. The USFL. I have optimism for this thing. I do. I really do. But the stories that are coming out about week 1 of it are just cracking me up. Like Parker, I don't know if you watched any of this yet. You got Houston Gamblers.
I was on the NBA playoffs. I will say the Houston Gamblers had me excited, and I actually know the quarterback in Philly. But the deal is that they're not actually from the place, so they don't play any.
Apparently, they want to move it there next year, but the inaugural season they wanted to minimize risk, minimize cost. So they're playing it all in one stadium, which is dope because I'm actually helping out our boy Kelsey out in the playoffs in Canton in June, I believe.
But quick poll.
Yeah.
I watched NBA playoffs this weekend instead. Savannah, did you watch any of the USFL? Did you watch NBA playoffs, golf? What'd you watch this weekend?
I watched the playoffs.
Right.
I watched
Jared,
both. Both, baby.
Okay, so
dedication.
2.5 out of 3 people polled didn't watch it.
Okay, they actually did get over 5 million viewers between all the games, which I mean isn't great, but still it's better than the opening of the AAF, which you couldn't even find what fucking channel it was on. Like, and the XFL was fun. I thought the XFL honestly
was fun. I actually went to a couple games.
Yeah, you were telling me that.
Yeah, Cardell played in a couple games, so I went to 2 of the Washington games. It was fun. It was cool to watch.
Me and Kevin were supposed to take a little cousin who was 11 at the time. Now he's 13. The kid won't stop growing. Or no, he was 9 at the time. Now he's 12. This was right before COVID. We were going to go see New York Guardians, Chicago Blackhawks game, St. Louis Battlehawk game. And literally I was about to buy the tickets and then boom, COVID.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, this sucks. I was actually looking forward to rooting from an actual team from my area code for the first time in my life. Just being in the Northeast sucks. I literally have to drive 2.5 hours to get to my closest team.
Yeah. Hey,
isn't that just going to the food store in Texas though?
About to say in Texas that doesn't get you from one city to the next, but
I was gonna say
we have teams in every city, but that didn't get you from one city to the next.
I was gonna say from Connecticut to Philadelphia, it's about 2 3/4 hours if I do not hit a single bit of traffic.
It takes me 2 hours just to get out of Ohio.
Yeah, that's about halfway
Savannah,
from Houston to Dallas.
3 of my last 4 co-hosts, including you, are from Ohio. I know for a fact it's half cornfields, half colleges. It's okay.
Some good colleges.
Oh yeah, no. Listen. I got one of my buddies who's graduated Ohio State. My former co-host JD, who also is a Bucks fan, but he's just lazy as shit. That's why he quit. I love him to death though. Then we have my boy Spencer. Happy birthday, Spence. He turns 25 on Friday. We're going golfing. We're doing a golf outing for him. He went to Ohio. And then I know Mike went to Toledo, our boss, Mike Brown, and so did Blaine. And then I think one other guy went to college in Ohio as well. It might have been Zach Mack. But yeah, it's just like Ohio colleges are great, man. I was supposed to go on a trip with my buddy to go see my buddy at Miami, Ohio. Oh, and my boy Frank Michael Smith, Miami, Ohio grad as well. So, listen, Ohio is just colleges, cornfields, and that place they call Cincinnati. I will say this about the USFL though. The offense looked like some of the offensive stuff, like the highlight catches, the runs. It looked entertaining. It looked fun. Some of the special teams play. If you're an actual punter, kicker, high school level, college, whatever, and you saw this, it may make you irk a little bit. But my biggest thing was the story about the dude with pizza and chicken salad. That was the best thing I saw all weekend. So, Savannah, did you see the story yet? The running back from the Pittsburgh Maulers? Pittsburgh Maulers.
He got cut, right?
He got cut because he said to a hotel worker, it was on camera, he was like, "Is chicken salad okay?" And he goes, "No, I don't eat chicken salad." And he goes, "I said, do have pizza. Gotta get some pizza." He goes, "No." "Is that gonna be a problem?" He goes, "Yeah, kinda. But like nothing like crazy like that." Dude gets cut over it.
It was something about like maturity and diet concerns or something stupid.
Bro, like fuck off, man. It's the USFL. Yeah. Make it 2 seasons, then start cutting people like that. Jesus.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my Lord. Also, by the way, Parker, just to make yourself feel better, your hometown Gamblers their mascot looks like Mookie from Craft Brew Sports. Don't believe me. Line them up side by side.
That's pretty good. I'd say I was excited that Houston got a team, and it'd be nice to have a football team that wins games. But I noticed that if they're not playing, it's not really the same. If they're not playing here, it's not really the same. That's a little different. I will say that like some of the swag is cool.
Yeah.
Bring the Generals back is cool.
Don't you guys have the Roughnecks for the XFL too?
The Roughnecks, undefeated Roughnecks. PJ Washington was the quarterback. PJ
Walker might be coming back.
Yeah, PJ Walker. Yeah.
Listen, Carolina might be a bigger dumpster fire than the XFL one. Oh my God. You know what? There's like 5. I was talking to before we get into NBA quick. There's like 5 fan bases. I was talking to my uncle about this the other day. I said, "There's like 5 fan bases," because he listens to the show. I'm like, "There's 5 fan bases. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemies." Don't worry, Parker. Your Texans are 6. Okay, they're not in the top 5 worst.
The city of Houston's had a rough 2 years, though. As a whole,
they had a great 10 before that. Okay, it's cyclical here. All right. So number 1 is definitely the Cleveland Browns fans, because this Cleveland shit. No, they're number 5. I'm sorry, I'm joking. Because this Deshaun Watson shit, I don't know where it's going. I don't know how it's happening to Baker Mayfield. The football gods are big in karma, and what they're doing to Baker is going to fuck him. I don't know how, but it's going to. I don't know if it's going to be a late or early exit. Deshaun gets hurt. Somehow they find new evidence. They hit him with a trial. I don't know. So it's definitely going to be interesting. And also just like this whole thing with Baker is just going to keep it's just stupid. I feel so bad for Baker Mayfield. Like he is the only playoff win they've had since before I was born. That should tell you something right there.
Another Texas high school playoff legend.
There you go. All right. Number 4 is the New York Giants. Okay, listen. If you talk to me 12 months ago, I'd say the Jets are here at 4. But now the Jets are out of my top 5 because the Jets actually have optimism. They have weapons that stay healthy. They have a quarterback who doesn't literally fumble the ball if you flick him in the earlobe. Like Daniel Jones, I swear to God, he literally is Brucey from The Longest Yard to me. It's something I just had popcorn. Like I don't get it how every time he gets hit, the ball's out. It's worse than Carson Wentz. It's worse than what's his face? Who's that running back with the fumble issues? Last couple of years. Oh my God! I'm thinking Midwest team. Oh shit.
What was the question?
Running back who's like notorious for fumbles the last couple of years. I was trying to think of the guy's name right now.
Oh.
Either way, doesn't matter.
I feel like there's a lot of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. But it's so to me, it's like with Daniel Jones, he's like synonymous with fumbles and turnovers. And I was told, I had it slammed on my face the last 3 years. Savannah, you were witnesses. I had a Duke professor call me out on Twitter about this. I remember you were on the show with me the day after this. Because Daniel Jones had a good rookie year. Congratulations. He hasn't done anything since. So, and they keep going down to Jacksonville's. I would even throw in Seattle right now because Seattle's in for a world of hurt because I'm sorry, Drew Lock ain't the answer folks. And they're about to trade DK in the draft or around the draft. They're going to try to see if they can move up, get some picks with them. And then you go into the other bottom feeders. I mean, I'll throw in Chicago Bears fans because I'm sorry, I love Justin Fields, but until you guys actually get some actual weapons around him, I feel horrible for that kid. Also, because he's on Jersey Jerry's shit list. All right, enough about football. Parker, playoffs. First of all, before we go any further, who is your NBA Finals predictions? Who's your two teams?
I've got Bucks Suns round 2.
Okay.
That's what I've been picking. So I feel like I need to stay consistent. I will say the first weekend of games, I saw some stuff out of teams I didn't know I was going to see, but the Warriors look really good. But I picked Suns Bucks round 2, and they're both playing well, so I feel like I got to stick with it.
Bucks Suns round 2 was is my pick as well. It was a coin flip. I literally did a best 2 out of 3 with the Bucks and the Heat because Jimmy Bucket and those boys, they just don't die. They're like cockroaches. They're hard to kill. This is not even bias here. I said if Minnesota gets past Ja, who was my sleeper pick out of the West, if it isn't going to be Phoenix, it is going to be Memphis. If they get past Ja somehow, Minnesota could take everyone except Phoenix to 7. Because I think Phoenix will stomp on their throat because they did it every time they played this year. And
not to compliment them because you got their sweatshirt on. One thing I've been impressed about Minnesota in the play-in playoff thus far, and the hat, but all the way across has been they're clearly, even if they're young, not intimidated, right? I don't know if that's Patrick Beverley or what the case is, but
it's Edwards, it's Beverly, it's the fact that I don't think D'Lo has an emotion besides laughing.
We're all winners for having more Anthony Edwards games because he's fun, he's funny after games, he's the full spectrum there. He's a ton of fun.
He should just do a stand-up comedy tour in the offseason. He would kill.
No, he's a ton of fun, and I think we win for having more games with him, and frankly, to have a guy that's 21 years old doing what he's doing. Is even crazy. He doesn't turn 21 until
he
turns 21 later. He's a second-year player, I guess. Player.
I told Savannah pre-show I call him Baby Kobe around my house because this dude. Well, listen, right, you guys. There's only 2 guys on my basketball mantle I bow to. Three if you count Jordan, because everyone bows to Jordan. I bow to Kobe, the greatest shit talker of all time, and my personal hero Kevin Garnett, and then of course his Ernest. I love Kobe Bryant. 1, because he's part of the tribe. Go Eagles. 2, I loved his intimidation. I love how he just didn't give a fuck. The Matt Barnes stories a couple weeks ago when he was on a radio show, a podcast, were hysterical. And also, anytime Matt Barnes opens his mouth, I'm here for it. It's must-see television or radio.
All Smoke's good show.
All Smoke's such a good podcast. Also, Stack Jack is just fucking hysterical. So my biggest thing with it is that when I see Kobe and I see, and I'll keep this quick because I know we only got you for a limited time. It's the lack of fear. It's the fact he'll take a shot from anywhere on the court. His game is versatile and it's only getting better, and he prepares like a pro. That's where I see the Kobe-esque kind of ability. I'm not saying he's going to be Kobe. I'm saying he could have that NBA All-Pro level, All-NBA level, because he has the talent, but clearly he has the drive for it as well, and he has no fear of big moments.
Well, and Savannah's got a Bucks shirt on, so I know she knows the way the Giannis growth happened. And I don't necessarily know that Ant Edwards turned into that, but to see how much better he's gotten in roughly 18 months of basketball, and frankly, the first 6 months of pro basketball were weird with COVID and protocols and no real training camps and all that. That this guy really does feel like the limit because he's built for it. He's he's big, he's tall and strong, but he jumps out. He does all of it, and I don't know what's going to put on him. I don't think that it's right. I will say that he's so strong that you just hope that he doesn't gain too much weight. Not that he's gonna be like Zion Williamson's gained a little too much weight.
But make a Zion joke.
But the bigger guys in basketball, you typically start worrying about feet and ankle and that kind of stuff when they get to be 28, 29, 30. And that'd be a shame, right? But I imagine that he'll it's why would you gamble on that for a kid? I think he's been a lot of fun. I will say what's interesting, last Timberwolves thing, because there are 7 seed. We haven't spent too much time with them, but Karl Anthony Towns playing so much better in the playoff game versus the play-in game, I thought was big. Right,
it was
like that
2 anniversary of his mom's death. The dude was a little out of it, but
right, like it was like, oh no, is this playoff Karl Anthony Towns? I was like, no, that was just a one-off. That was a bad day. Like,
also
let's move on.
Clippers had the perfect game plan too. Like, you could not have scripted that any better. Also,
Yeah, Tyler's the coach.
You needed a COVID test P to like knock down about 14 3-pointers. Yeah, self-reported. Okay, Paul. I see what you did there.
Yeah, it is funny to look at. When you look at the standings, the Pelicans with like 6 less wins are the 8th seed because of the way that worked out. Anyway,
also, funny. I think Paul George after that game was like, "Oh, Kawhi's not back. All right, I'm gonna look at telephone poll, see if I catch COVID."
How many door handles does it take? Yeah,
right? Seriously, he's like, I ain't doing this shit by myself. I'm not getting railroaded by freaking Phoenix. You kidding me?
I want to go to Cabo early. It's nice this time of year.
Yeah, right? Fucking pull LeBron. Get some wine out there. Live tweet everything because you're a bum. It's an anti-LeBron show out here. I'm still not forgiving him for trying to talk shit about my Wolves after wait a minute. Didn't they spank LA the entire season? Oh yeah, they did because you're a bum and you're old. It's okay. All right. So Luka's not playing for game 3. He did not play for game. Yeah, he didn't play for game 2. He may play for game 3. Ben Simmons apparently is going to try to play for game 4. But if Boston wins in the next 2, it's not going to fucking matter. So,
right.
I will say it's those 2 injuries because I think they're the 2 biggest ones everyone's talking about in the playoffs. Because Zion being injured is just like death, taxes, and everything else that's established.
Well, and he's not trying to come back. It doesn't feel like the way the other guys are.
Yeah.
I mean, even though those dunk videos are insane, the fact that man's the size of a nose tackle and is doing like behind the back between the legs off the backboard dunks is ridiculous. Luka, Mavs without Luka, they even have a chance in that series. I mean, I know the Jazz basically all hate each other, but like they played so great in game 1, it's kind of like,
My Twitter advice would be to not go public with that take because they will find you. No, I think that the thing about the Jazz to me
has nothing to do. They can't drink out there.
Yeah, which just means that they're angrier. I think. No,
that's why I bring Kevin on later. He's got all the anger I need.
The Jazz have just playoff flaws, like the when you can game plan them for a 7-game series and you sit down and just focus on them for 2 weeks, they have flaws and. We saw it in game 2 with Dallas. Obviously, they can't bank on Jalen Brunson having 41 and getting the lane however he wants. And Maxi Kleber come off the bench. Tall German white guys in Dallas do well, I guess. But like having him spot up in the corner and go 8 for 11 on threes, you can't bank on that. But it got them a game. And we've seen, even though they didn't win either series, like Luka, when he shows up, has been tremendous in the playoffs. Like individual statistics, it's 40-point here, triple-double there, like all over the cross, both times against the Clippers and Paul George and Kawhi Leonard and all of the great wing defenders.
Yeah.
If Luka really is back for game 3, I think they are in trouble. I think the Jazz win the series if Luka doesn't show up. I know that game 2 is a ton of fun and the city of Dallas is buzzing, and I don't mean to like be the buzzkill. That Donovan Mitchell is just too good for that, right? Jordan Clarkson, frankly, is even too good for that. But if Luka shows up, this thing could be over in a hurry just because the problem they get put and the problem they get put in with Rudy Gobert, the dunker spot, and not to get too X's and O's on it, but like he can't quite do the thing where he's defending the corner 3 and the rim. He either comes and helps at the rim and then they get out of rotation on the corner 3. Or he goes out to the corner 3 and can't get back to the rim, which is what he's really good at. And that's why you get Brunson with 41 with a bunch of layups, or you get Maxi Kleber with a bunch of threes. And if they have Luka doing that, Luka will get to the rim for 40 plus frequently, right? Like that, the Jalen Brunson thing felt like a one-off, but Luka will do that often, and they're in real trouble there. And then it doesn't have to be Kleber hits all the threes. It can be Brunson catching the threes. It can be, Dinwiddie they got now and whatnot. So that really hurts. It's fun. I don't know if either team beats Phoenix, so I don't know that I'm that worried about it, right? Like Phoenix just looks too good.
Yeah. What's depressing to me? Quick, and Savannah, I know you got some stuff to say. One thing is like watching this Denver team is just so depressing because they're getting buzzsawed by Golden State, and it's just not fair because they would be such a better team if Michael Porter and Jamal Murray were actually playing, but God, they're not. They just won't see the court.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if Golden State had a guy like Kevin Durant. They'd be really good. No, that like Golden State looked like, and with Steph Curry come off the bench as he come back from his own injury, they look like they've done this all before. Lucking into a guy like Jordan Poole. I mean, say lucking into, obviously, like they scouted and drafted and whatnot, but like that's clearly worked out. Draymond Green looks like he cares again, and that's important. No, like they look really good. That they frankly look good enough that again, like I said a second ago, I feel more sketchy about my Suns winning the West pick because I'm like, oh, they're gonna have to play the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals potentially, and the Warriors and Grizzlies are both good and all that kind of stuff. They look a lot better than they did in like February, and so that. I mean, I would not be surprised if they win the whole thing. I mean, Steph is Steph. If he's better in 2 weeks than he is now because he's getting healthier, like the rest of the league could have a problem.
Savannah, what you got?
I feel like we covered a lot in a short amount of time. I think the Warriors I'm scared of the Warriors. I didn't have the Warriors picked. Of course, I had the Suns coming out of the West, but the way that they've been playing, I feel like I'm scared of them. We had a couple.
Is there anybody in the East you're scared
of them, and now they're back, and it makes me mad.
Is there anybody in the East you're scared of where you're like, okay, I really hope we don't face them in the conference finals because they may take my Bucks to 7?
Yeah, I feel like the Heat, it's a possibility. I feel like the 76ers are also a possibility. It's just I see the team, like I see the Bucks team and how they are and how they've been playing and the way that Giannis has been playing. No team necessarily is like freaking me out, but there's always a chance to go to 7. Because there's going to be times like the Bucks are not necessarily the best team on the road in the playoffs. And they proved that last year. They were that's why it's always Bucks and 6 because they're going to give up a couple road games.
That's always
Bucks
a
and
fair
6.
assumption. Bucks and 6.
I like the Bucks build for the playoffs a lot. I do think they missed Tucker from a year ago.
Yeah.
King.
No, well, not just because I like idolize PJ Tucker, but because he had like a toughness and a switchability that they're lacking. I have to say, like, the Celtics defense thing feels real. We'll see how it plays out. Getting them after the Nets, as a Milwaukee person, I feel like you have to feel good about getting them after the Nets because that's going to be a long series, wear and tear. Also, just like it pushes them to like an exhaustion level. It's a little different, not just like an injury and thing. And then, frankly, like there's a real shot that the Nets beat the Celtics. I mean, obviously the Celtics won game 1, but like it was super close, right? Buzzer beater. And I frankly on matchups would kind of feel better about the Bucks Nets than the Bucks Celtics, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I definitely do. And it's definitely because I look at it a mentality as the reason why the Heat scared me is because we've lost to them before and they've proven that they can beat us. Obviously, I know it was a different team, but like with the Nets, with that type of mentality is like we took them to 7, but we still beat them. So I think I'm scared of them, and the Celtics defense is definitely something that I'm looking out for. But if we got the Nets, I feel like I would feel better about that than getting the Celtics.
We haven't seen the Nets with Ben Simmons yet, but if that's a real thing and they really try that, I wonder if Budenholzer and the Bucks have like the advantage of like the Nets are trying to figure out that game plan still, right? They're trying to work him into the fold on this, work him into the fold there, and like they're picking a really quick time to have to do that, right? Because you can't drop a couple games to Milwaukee, you can't drop a couple games to Boston. If they bring him back for game 4 and it's 2-1 and they drop game 4 because they're trying to work the minutes out, it's like, well, now it's 3-1 or now like that. All of a sudden you're out of time.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm really into the book or whatever. I'm really into the honest thing. I think it feels like the 10s may be his decade and or the 20s. I guess. God, I'm old. It's the 20s and but I feel like we're kind of in that era where like Steph had the latter part of the teens, LeBron had the first half of the teens, Kobe had the latter half of the aughts, Tim Duncan, Shaq had the first half of the aughts. Like I think we're kind of in a Giannis wing right now, and you don't stop him with a single person. You have to have the wall built and all that kind of stuff, and they're really good.
Yeah, he gets better with everything every year. Like his 3-point percentage used to suck, and now it just like goes up every year. I feel like there's something every year that they dog him about, and then the next year he just comes back and proves everybody wrong. Like he just is consistently getting better and staying consistent with all the stuff that he's working on.
Jared mentioned his own, and congrats again on the weight loss journey. Giannis, the pictures where he does the opposite, the like pictures of him at 19.
Dude, he looks like he gets scarier every time he posts something. I'm like, God, this kid is 6'11". It could get to the basket in 3 strides and just gets more and more yoked every time he shows up. And what cracks me up about it is that he's now developing a jump shot, and it's getting better and better, and it's just like Jesus. And it's just and you know it's great because the NBA really needed a change of pace. Like we all were kind of just in this whole era where it always had to be. It was we're all going so guard centric, but now it's like the most dominant player in basketball is a big again. Oh, and the top 3 vote getters in the MVP aren't all of them over 6'9". Like it's kind of a nice little renaissance again.
And I don't mean to sound like xenophobic. They're all foreign too. Like it's all international big men. Like I guess Joel Embiid went to Kansas. He's from the Cameroon, right? And like the idea that like, yes, we love DeMar DeRozan or whatever, but like the truth is, if you're 7 feet tall and also play like that, like you're just better.
And like even look at my boy. Well, last year we'll see. Like even my boy Cat, all NBA. Like it's like dude had an unreal season at 7 foot. I mean, technically, he's not even. I mean, he was born in. I don't even know. It's kind of like split. He's
DR. Well, he's a dual citizen. He has DR
dual
citizenship,
citizen,
right?
It's DR citizen. Yeah. So the biggest thing, but he's a Jersey boy through and through. He's big Eagles fan too.
I have seen the jersey actually. I've seen him in the jerseys.
Yeah. Those custom Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl trophy shoes were pretty fire. Unfortunately, they couldn't find the winning formula. My biggest thing with the big men right now, I love how they've kind of just taken over basketball. And that's just kind of like, and it's kind of like, there are some good guards coming up. LaMelo, of course, you got D-Book right now, you got AE as well, you got John Moran, who's just so much fun to watch and even more terrifying to play against. But I love how it's kind of like, it's kind of balancing the game out when we were just all about chucking and hucking threes for the past like 10 years. But now it's like, it's starting to even out again. I'm seeing guys shoot mid-ranges again. It makes me so happy.
It's a pendulum swing. You know, Savannah mentioned the Heat and a little bit of fear there. They've got their own. I guess he's like 6'10" and change, but in Bam Adebayo, right? Mm-hmm. Like it really is. These teams have to have somebody big. Jason Tatum is a perimeter guy. Mm-hmm. He's listed at like 6'9". He looks taller than that. I don't know what he actually is. Jaylen Brown, I guess, is a similar vein. It's the league shifts back and forth. Now, I mean. Savannah pointed out the big guys do shoot threes now.
The game's changed, but listen, like still back to the basket's kind of still a thing. I mean, like listen, like you have the kid out of Memphis is up for defensive player of the year. I mean, but the problem is his foul's gonna kill him. But quickly, Parker, I know you got to go in a couple minutes. Let's get your picks for tonight. First game, Wolves Grizzlies. Who you got?
I think the Grizzlies bounce back. It's game 2. It's at home. John Morant is a human highlight reel, and he seems to have the thing where he feels the moment. I would anticipate him getting a lot of baskets. The thing I will say though is that I don't think Anthony Edwards cares what I have to say. So
no, we don't. I think Anthony Edwards uses his own like honey badger like persona for basketball. All right, Hawks Heat. Do the Hawks have any life in them, or are the Heat just going bird hunting tonight?
No, I don't think so. It will look different. It won't be Duncan Robinson with a bunch of threes. It'll be someone else, Yurt 7, or it'll be some random guy in the Heat that goes off, and you'll have like a solid 15 from Butler, 15 from Lowry, 15 from Adebayo, and they'll do it again. Like Trae Young may score more points, but I got Heat again.
All right. Pelicans Suns, any hope for New Orleans, or is this just done?
The only hope I saw in this, and I don't know if you guys are gamblers, but I may or may not follow a gambling website or two. And they pointed out that Scott Foster is a referee for that game, and Chris Paul is 0-13 in games refereed by Scott Foster. I don't know if it matters
Lock
tonight.
it in.
I'm saying I'm still taking the
100
Suns.
out right now.
But
We're doing this.
I will say that feels sketchy if the Suns somehow lose that game tonight.
Right.
Okay, I have like $2 left. I put most of my money in a risk-free same-game parlay from DraftKings. I may have to throw in another $5 on Scott Foster tonight just to fuck it up.
Or I don't even know what the line is on that. But
Chris Paul to get a technical foul. That's got to be an easy prop bet there somewhere.
Oh, he'll get one for sure. I don't know if you remember there's a clip where Chris Paul's like giving the ref a tech. That ref was Scott Foster.
I know 3 NBA refs in my life. I know the one who Luka hit on. I know the one that Tim Donaghy, because everyone knows who the fuck he is. And then I know Scott Foster because of everything he's gotten in trouble with.
Yeah. That's the resume.
It's like I feel like with referees, unless you're Ed Hoculate, because he's just a moose in any sport, or umpires, you're only bad if you're only known if you're notorious. Joe West. All right. Parker, man, I know you got to get rolling. You got a busy night of going on podcasts tonight. I appreciate you stopping by, brother.
Of course, happy to talk hoops, man. Y'all
All right,
take care.
Take care, brother.
See ya.
Always good having Parker on. By the way, you can check him out at Midweek Midrange and at Effin Sports and at Parker Ainsworth as well on Twitter, believe Instagram, and I don't think they're on TikTok. He's a teacher. I feel like TikTok wouldn't be smart for him. But yeah, no, you know what's crazy about the NBA playoffs, man, is that I have not given a fuck about the NBA playoffs unless it's like an elite. So like the last playoff game I watched last year intently was like from end to end was your Bucks versus the Nets game 7 last year.
I feel like everyone watched that series. I feel like that was stressful for me, but I feel like as a NBA fan, that was just a good series.
I am sitting next to I was sitting next to one of my good friends who is a diehard Nets fan since like the Jason Kidd days, and he's just sitting there. And I'm a Kevin Durant fan because of the effort he puts in. For me, it's never been about his, like the whole, like, oh, I'm the next chapter, the taking my talents to Golden State, whatever. I don't care about that. It's like it's water under the bridge. It was necessary to knock LeBron off. We're good. Conspiracy theory time. I think Michael Jordan and Kobe, back when he was alive, rest in peace, told him to go to Golden State to make sure LeBron didn't win any more titles.
He still won one.
Yeah, but they were when Kobe was dead into the Mickey Mouse Championship doesn't count. Come on.
Kobe wasn't dead when
Cavs
won in 16?
No, this was after this was after that.
Oh.
Yeah. No.
I was going to say he was
The Cavs one was fine. That was 3. But
right.
I don't count the Lakers one. That was bullshit because it was the Mickey Mouse bubble title. Nobody gives a fuck about that.
Yeah.
I also lost a $40 bet on that Blazers Lakers series in round 1. Fucking cost me a bottle of Hennessy. Oh my
that
God.
doesn't seem like that big of a deal.
Well, listen, when I was working as a mover, okay? I didn't have an adult job yet, so $40 during the pandemic was a little more expensive.
Right.
Oh my God. I'm not like our next guest who on his Twitter account, folks, posted that, you know what? I'm just going to throw out 300 bills for a date and a hockey game. Joining us now, one of my best friends in the whole world, one of the grumpiest men in the whole world, a devoted Boston sports fan, an Alabama lover, and one of the best mustaches when it still existed, one of the OGs, Mr. Kevin.
It's not a date, and she was not happy that I spent $300 on those tickets.
Buddy, we said this already. It's just, it's an alpha dog move. It's like we're going to a hockey game.
No, I texted her yesterday, and I was like, hey, I know I didn't really give you a say, but I want to make sure that you're good going. She's like, yeah, don't do that again, but I'll still go.
Still a yes.
Yeah, fair.
Hey, look, we got the season 4 team back together. It's the original 3 back. Kev, how you doing, pal? How was your weekend besides, buying hockey games?
Oh, great. I get to take Thursday and Friday off of work to go to a wake and a funeral, so that'll be fun.
You know what? I set you up for that one. I gave you the alley-oop there.
Yeah, I don't know what you were expecting when you asked.
You know, because you've been on the show 3 times since January, and basically I'm getting rusty on your humor. So I used to anticipate it. Now I'm like, I'm used to like Brad or McCarthy or Cruz just saying some like, oh, shucksy shit, like, you know, some regular stuff. I'm not used to your dark sense of humor. Yeah, no, I know it's not your bill.
That's no fun.
Yeah, I mean, you missed it. I said something that was right up your alley on Craft Brew Sports on Wednesday. I referred to the Michigan Panthers mascot as the new Penn State mascot because it looked like it was way too happy to hug your kids.
That's fair. Fair.
Oh my God.
This is also the same man, folks, who was a little suspect of Joe Paterno's missing time during World War II.
Look, I'm just saying he enrolled in Brown in 1946. There are some years unaccounted for there.
I still don't think Zach Keelman will ever come back on the show after that because because you may or may not have insinuated Joe Pa was a Nazi.
Yeah, I've also called Lou Holtz a Soviet sleeper cell.
I think he's just asleep at this point. That man's eyes aren't even open half the time.
Oh, no. I've told you this theory that Kieran and I have, right, Jared?
Yes, you've told me the theory about Lou Holtz.
Savannah, I don't know if I've told you because we haven't spoken in a while, but if you look at when Notre Dame won their national championships, they haven't won one since the Cold War ended. Since the start of the decline of the Soviet Union in the late 80s, I think the Soviet Union was just funneling money into Notre Dame. And that's why they were winning.
Miami game.
And now that the Soviet Union fell, Notre Dame can't get recruits anymore. Although
they tried
their new coach is starting to do that. I think it might have also just been a Brian Kelly issue, but I'm going to go with Lou Holtz as a comment.
Brian Kelly was a failed sleeper cell.
Fair. And
that man changes accents too fast.
Notice Notre Dame is starting to get recruits now.
I also think, come on, Kev, I'm not like the elephant in the room.
Some are saying it's Marcus Freeman. I'm saying
it's
Russia is starting to act up again. Do they have now? These recruits might start running dry because they're getting not embargoed, sanctions. Are the recruits going to run dry in Notre Dame again? We going to stop seeing 5 stars go there? I'm not saying it's true. I'm just connecting dots here.
Oh my gosh. Invisible
Kevin, you've outdone yourself, and it's only 4 minutes into you being on the fucking show.
Yeah.
Savannah,
Every boogeyman in American history.
No, I said invisible dots.
Nazis.
You're connecting the invisible dot.
The dots are there. I'm connecting.
He's literally Charlie Day. He's literally Charlie Day.
If you were to lay down in front of someone, they would be like, "There's no dots there." Your dots.
Savannah, tell me one thing I've said that was wrong. Tell me. Notre Dame has not won a national championship since the start of the collapse of the Soviet Union. Russia's acting up again. They're starting to get recruits. Tell me where I'm wrong.
I'll leave it at that.
All right, buddy. First off, before we get into spring games, did you hear about this Tom Herman thing from a couple years back with him singing the Justin Bieber song, that linebacker?
I'm going to be honest. Tom Herman has not entered my brain for like 2 years now. So no.
I just found out he's on the Bears staff, or he was on the Bears staff, which just makes me laugh even more. So basically, there was this linebacker from Texas, like a 3 or 4 star recruit. I cannot find the video. It's been deleted off everything. I don't even know how the fuck McAfee got it. Basically, this linebacker would only go to Texas if Tom Herman sung "Baby" by Justin Bieber to him, and it was the most uncomfortable thing I'd ever heard in my life.
I have a question though. What's worse, Tom Herman singing "Baby" or Brian Kelly grinding up on recruits in a way where if you did that in a bar to another man in Baton Rouge, you probably wouldn't make it home? What's worse?
Or if you're Urban Meyer, you just get made fun of by your NFL team.
True.
It was right there. Okay, it was a layup.
That's fair. Hopefully Brian Kelly, a mural of Brian Kelly's wife, isn't staring at him while he's sodomizing these recruits.
Oh my gosh, stop.
Micah Parsons, relax.
Another Penn State thing. Just Penn State things.
I think this is why I haven't been allowed back on Tailgate in the Quad, because the Penn State bashing I bring with me is just never ending.
Yeah, I can't do that on the show.
Yeah,
I feel bad.
I have no fear. Literally, I'll start bashing.
I just feel bad.
Oh no! Like we had AJ on the show about 2 weeks ago, and I was literally shitting on Florida State for a half hour. Like Mike Norvell's such a bad recruiter. He's got a guy holding out because of a bad NIL deal. Like you can't make that shit up. Oh my god,
it's fucking hysterical.
Well, fucking hysterical, Kevin. We'll talk spring games. Vanderbilt tied theirs.
I can't get over how bad Vanderbilt is. They're really lucky that they're good at baseball, sometimes basketball, and they raise the collective GPA of the SEC by about 1.4. Otherwise, they'd be long.
It goes from 1.4 to 2.8, basically.
Yeah, they basically double it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why Missouri's still in the SEC. They don't contribute fucking anything.
Yeah, I feel like they should be replaced. They should go back to the Big 12 in place of like Texas and Oklahoma.
I don't even want Texas at this point.
I do. I want you guys to keep.
They're just another Missouri. Yeah, week 2 of this year, they're gonna get shit on.
Well, so it's funny, right? Like they made this move thinking they were going to be an elite team, and they're getting out recruited by a lot of like not so elite teams on the East Coast, West Coast, Northeast, Midwest, and they're just getting crapped on. They used to be like. And then again, also, let's put it this way. With the exception of the Mac Brown year, has Texas ever really been back?
No. Texas has been not back for, we're coming up on 20 years.
I think the last time they were in a meaningful bowl game was the Cotton Bowl incident with Miami, and that was before any of us were born.
I mean, they have won a national championship during our lifetimes.
Yeah. Exactly. Vince Young. That's it. They literally owe everything to that sidearm slinger.
So we're coming up on like 20 years.
Jesus Christ. Don't make me feel like fucking older, Kevin. God damn it.
It's absurd.
Dude, I'll be 30 on the 20th anniversary of that game. What the fuck?
Although I do love that Texas fans, that video I made with
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Ellinger saying, we're back. Then the Curb Your Enthusiasm. Texas fans keep giving that video I made life, and I appreciate them for it.
There you go. So, Kev, you actually had... So, how many spring games did you actually get to watch this year?
2.
You, mine and Bama's?
Yeah.
I actually got to watch some of Ohio State's, which I was... So, okay, so CJ Stroud, one shout out to CJ for wearing the Dwayne Haskins jersey. That was a very classy move. I thought that was very cool. Also, that dude's they might just steamroll the Big 12 this year. Off
the Big 12?
State, the Big 10. Sorry, I do that every fucking time.
Your 2 numbers
they would have steamrolled the Big 12 too, because there's nobody coming out of the Big 12.
That's true.
God, that conference is fucking dead. But yeah, I watched like 10 minutes of 50 minutes of Ohio State. And Savannah, I'll tell you this right now. You can go in your little fan. I will fully allow you to go full Ohio State Buckeye fan for me, because CJ Stroud looks elite. Okay. I don't think he's Bryce Young good yet, but he's getting there. Like he's getting.
He looked elite last year.
I know. Well, we also just made fun of him because JD was so butthurt about it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like Savannah, you thought we gave you shit about Ohio State? The crap me and Kevin used to do to JD was not human.
Oh boy. So I got the easy end of the stick then? That's
awesome.
You
did, because you actually made logical arguments half the time.
Oh, okay. I'll take that.
Except for the Justin Fields interception. That one we had to roast you for about 3 hours.
Yeah. I don't want to think about that.
You don't want to talk about that one anymore. Hey, it's okay. My last college team to make a national championship has to owe it to a floor breaking for a player's ankle to break. So there you go.
Yeah, I saw. At first, I didn't know what was going on. I did see videos of that. How did they even let that happen? National championship. How does that even happen?
The sports books didn't want a 8th seed winning a national title. Hey, listen, Kevin gets his conspiracy theory. I get mine. Okay. Man, I was on the hook for $2,000 if they hit that shot on a $17 bet. I was like, okay, come on. I'm literally getting to my Silverado right now if this hits, and it's like, nope, not happening. So yeah, no, but sportsbooks bet rigging it, but yeah. So what'd you think of the spring game, Savannah? I love CJ Stroud looked elite.
I
great.
was working during the game, so I could only see a little bit of like what was just shown on TV, like the couple minutes that I had. I did get to see the CJ Stroud touchdown to Jackson Smith and Jigba. That was good. That was really nice. I think he's going to be scary this year, but I didn't really get to see much of the game. I think I saw like maybe 10 minutes of it.
If it makes you funny better, I watched 10 minutes of Alabama, 10 minutes. I was like bouncing between games because I also had my Diamondbacks were playing the Mets and they actually won that game somehow. Then you had my Timberwolves playing the Grizzlies. And then I also had the Miami spring game kicking off at noon. So I had to like keep ping-ponging around YouTube TV. My history page for Saturday is literally just like 15 things long of me switching between channels. So was it Jackson Smith? What's it? Njigba is a freak. I think that kid is
with a B.
Njigba. So okay, you know what? I'm gonna have to fuck his name up twice or three times before I get it right. I still don't get Adam Shortstack's name right. So that's what I'm gonna call him for the rest of the season.
Well, he doesn't deserve it. So
yeah, he's a piece of shit. Yeah, Savannah, shout out to you, by the way, for just going to town on him on fucking Instagram, on Twitter. We appreciate it.
I was talking about Schefter.
Yeah, Adam Shortstack. I don't refer to him by his real name anymore.
I was trying to figure out who you were talking about, but I get it now. That was just rude. Like, you don't have to have any brains to post something like that. Like, every single person that watches the NFL knows his whole entire like career. You don't need to post anything about that. Like, he's freaking dead. Like,
also, even if like even casual fans who like don't really know him, because by the end he was like a backup. Anyone who kind of lost track of him, they still don't need to know that.
Right.
It does not impact the story whatsoever.
Not at all. And then he goes and deletes it and posts something else and doesn't even apologize.
He did on his podcast, but that was after like
who the hell's going to watch that now?
Yeah. You know, I love the ESPN basically Jeff Passanoff for saying the MLB handed the players a shit sandwich of an offer, and he can't go on the air right now. But yet they keep Adam Shortstack on the fucking air for the draft and everything, and he fucking does this dumb shit.
Well, he didn't say anything bad about the league, so Roger Goodell doesn't care.
Well, yeah. Then again, Roger Goodell's waiting until this until after the league year to start to sweep this Daniel Snyder shit under the rug again.
Yeah.
Because they're boys, apparently, Kevin. I know you could run with that theory.
It's not even a theory. It's just a fact at this point.
It's like, at some point, it's like, I think Donald Sterling's rap sheet's getting pretty close to this at this point. So
I think Sterling's is still better than Snyder's at this point.
Well,
what Sterling did was terrible. It was a horrible thing to say. He should have. What the NBA did was completely fair.
Yes.
But he didn't technically break any crimes doing it like Dan Snyder did. He wasn't prostituting out cheerleaders or trying to like Dan Snyder did.
And
the Clippers were decent. They weren't making a mockery of the NFL, of the NBA at the time.
Well, listen, speaking as an NFC East fan, I like my free 2 wins every year. Like, it's nice, okay? I'm looking forward to Darius Slay picking off Carson Wentz 3 times a year. It's going to be fun.
Only 3?
Well, the fact is somehow we're still in the Honey Badger sweepstakes. I'm hoping he has 2 of those as well. And we also get a couple picks from Avonte Maddox, probably a linebacker picks one off. And knowing Carson, somehow Fletcher Cox is going to get a pick 6.
Yeah, probably.
Because he'll probably throw
fumbles in there too.
Yeah, he'll probably throw the ball straight up in the fucking air like a can of corn punt, and he'll catch it and run it back. I just want to see Javon Hargrave's big ass running down the field.
I love how this has gone full circle, by the way. Jared used to be the most ardent Carson Wentz defender. When he wins 5 Super Bowls, he's going to be the GOAT. He's going to throw like 15 picks against the Eagles this year.
Listen, I know I got to eat a shit sandwich for the next couple of years about this, and I understand it. My Carson Wentz jerseys are behind my desk over here. I haven't had a chance to throw them out yet. I'm actually going to see if I can try to sell them to Plato's Closet, see if I can get like $20 for each of them.
How many do you have?
You get that, maybe 5.
I have the authentic one that got too small for my shoulders, and then I have the NFL game one, which I bought. October of 2020. Solid investment, guys.
So how much that
what's
run you? Like
heartbreaking?
$300?
You know what's
The-
heartbreaking is I have a Devontae Adams jersey that I have to let sit in my closet. But if I ever go to a Raiders game with my mom,
There you go. See, at least he went to your mom's team, so it doesn't hurt as much.
It still hurts. Just
I know
because
because
she
I had you.
throws it in
I
my
had
face.
you. I had you on the show like 48 hours before it happened. Me and Kevin were sitting here on our live stream on my birthday show, and it broke. And I'm like, Kevin, they just traded Devontae Adams. Kevin's eyeballs like popped out of his socket for a second.
Although, Jared, you know what this means?
What does it mean?
Devontae Adams is now the best receiver in the NFL.
Been the best receiver in the NFL. I'm confused.
Well, because you remember like 2 years ago when we were all co-hosting together, me and him refused to acknowledge Devontae Adams a top 5 receiver just to piss you off, just for content.
Mhm.
No, 2 years ago, I don't think he was top 5.
No, he was top 10 though. He was
He was top 10 comfortably.
I watched
You guys
him.
are really good at this.
What? I mean, I'm just being honest. At the
We're
time,
both
no.
fucking
sure you
instigators. Are you, Savannah? We were both trash talkers and instigators. You should know this by now. Have you noticed both for almost 3 years?
I know.
I would say in the past 2 years, yes, he has become a top 2 or 3, depending on the year. He was number 1.
Yeah,
like 2 years ago, number
2020,
1.
2020, he was just unbeatable. He was just something else.
And then last year, even, I think you can make an argument.
Yeah, he was top 2. Like, shit. Anybody who puts Debo at number 1, though, is a fucking moron.
He's
I
a
saw
very good all-around person, but he's definitely not number 1.
Kev, what do you think about Debo holding out? Do you think the Niners need him more than he needs the Niners, or is it vice versa?
I think the Niners made him.
That's what we said,
Like
so.
using kind of him, how it works. But I think now he can go wherever he wants and he'll be impactful. I would also like to say Bill Belichick made Debo Samuel because he kind of got Cordarrelle Patterson into that role more that teams weren't using him in. And then Debo was like started doing that too. Have to bring up the Patriots somehow. But no, I think Debo will be impactful. And also I think the Jaguars fucking broke the NFL by giving Christian Kirk that much money.
Ridiculous amount of money.
Oh, I
It's
love
like
it though.
wide
It's
receiver
so
2
funny.
At best.
It's-
At best.
Trent Baalke just, I think, worships chaos. Like, he's going to take I have on firm, like, gut hunch he's going to take Trayvon Walker first overall next week. Just like
that.
No.
Would be so fucking stupid.
No, he will, because like he's going to take Trayvon Walker first overall because he and I quote, this is what Rappaport said on multiple podcasts. He reminds him of Aldon Smith when he drafted him when he was part of the San Francisco front office, but without like the off the field issues and everything else, like the freak nature, like potential. And you know, like listen, honestly, Aldon Smith and Josh Allen, that's a scary edge rush because they're both freak athletes. But like it's production that wins games, not freak athleticism. So that's Jadeveon Clowney. But guys,
Or,
also
you know,
like
protect your number 1 overall pick quarterback.
yeah,
think
true.
that's
I
probably
mean,
a
but you know,
better
they were
choice.
never going to take a fucking tackle. That was like a smokescreen for like a month. If they take, honestly, if they were smart, they'd take Icky or Evan Neal, but they've not. They're going to take an edge rusher. They franchised and signed Greg Robinson, which is like just stupid. But also, speaking
I
of
think
freaks,
if they're going to do that and move him to the other tackle position and draft left tackle, I don't hate that move, honestly. I think Greg Robinson is probably the best option they had.
Yeah.
But signing him to be your starting left tackle and not improving that offensive line at all is so stupid.
Also, by the way, Kevin, before we talk more NFL ball, I want your comment on that corn-fed monster you guys call a backup quarterback at Alabama.
Jalen Milroe, oh my God, that man, it's absurd.
Man, I'll text you a picture of him just so you get a look at what this guy is.
Okay.
I know Alabama strength training is absurd. Like how you see some of these guys come in and where they're at now is ridiculous, but I just don't know how he did it. I don't want to say the S word, but it looks like he was in shape before, don't get me wrong, but he's just something else now.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the picture.
Performed the best on Saturday.
Yeah,
it's all over my Twitter.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna text Savannah the picture of him from the national title game because he still looks like a fucking animal in this. Like, I want this dude's trainer. Like, seriously, because I'm like, Kev, me and you were trying to both get our work in to look good for the summer, right? And it's like I'm looking at this motherfucker, I'm like, God damn, I'm doing something wrong. Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious. I don't hide it, right? But yeah, no. So this dude was a crazy ass like. I just saw that. I was like, God, that's the backup. Holy shit. And JD thought Alabama was dead.
Yeah, well, JD's also an idiot.
And lazy. He retired from podcasting just so he could spend more free time drinking. Savannah's facial features in this are great. Thank God this is on YouTube because I love her face and she's like.
I was like, oh, okay.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It reminds me of the Kirk Cousin tweet from a couple years back. It's a picture of Bo Scarborough looking like a 27-year-old man as a 10th grader. And then it's Kirk Cousins when he was in 10th grade. Like, this is me and Bo Scarborough in 10th grade. Now I know why Bama never called. It's absurd. I don't know how he's that big. As a quarterback, too.
Listen, the dude wants to have a cannon arm. That's what it is. That's what's got to be.
Yeah.
He's got to have like great like mechanics and everything else. So it's like whatever. It's like fuck it. If you're big and you play quarterback, screw it. He's what we thought Jamarcus Russell was going to be 20 years ago.
Fair.
Yeah, right.
We're at 15 years for that now. We're coming up on 20 soon.
God, I used to have a Jamarcus Russell jersey, by the way.
I hope it was an LSU one.
No, it was Raiders.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I had some weird NFL jerseys when I was a kid. I had Peerless Price, Bills receiver. I had Chad Ochocinco because who didn't have a Chad Ochocinco jersey when they were a kid? Come on. I know you didn't. I had about 15 Eagles jerseys. Javon Curse, LJ Smith, Brian Dawkins, 2 or 3 McNabbs, a Westbrook. Fun fact, my Westbrook one was the ugly Carolina blue and yellow jerseys they had. It was a gift. I like somebody found it for me. I was like, this is kind of lit, actually. I wore it to one house party. It got a margarita spilled on it, and that was it. But
as one does.
Oh yeah. I have any other cool ones? I swear it's Keo Spikes one for the Bills, and then when he gets on with the Eagles, I almost did a backflip. Him and Randy Johnson were the reason I started wearing 51 all the time. So, yeah, but we were talking about Debo. We'll circle back to this. The other thing we were talking about is the fact that AJ Brown and Scary Terry are both now skipping involuntary workouts. They actually deserve contracts. They don't deserve, but I mean, like if they're gonna fucking pay Christian Kirk, they got to pay these two guys.
Yeah,
AJ Brown was kind of disappointing last year, and I think he's a fine NFL quarterback, but I blame a lot of that on Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, flip their positions there, kid. But yeah, no, you're right. No, but my biggest thing with AJ Brown, I think AJ Brown needs to go to a system where he's not the only passing option. So, I mean, listen, Jalen Hurts' recruiting skills are still up to snuff because apparently he's been trying to recruit AJ Brown since like February on Twitter.
it's clearly not working.
It's clearly not working, obviously. I mean, listen, Darius Slay, we all know Darius Slay is our A1 recruiter.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, he's been probably in Honey Badger's DMs for the past like 6 months. I mean, listen, Honey Badger in Philadelphia is amazing, but I mean, I'm just waiting for fuck them picks and the boys over in LA to just go pluck them right out of the free agent bunch. But oh man,
who's not a good recruiter?
Oh,
Matthew Judon.
Body by Taco Bell.
He's tried to recruit like every big name free agent, and none of them even negotiated with the Patriots.
I will also. Well, there was also. I mean, you guys did have a negotiation, like a visit from Leonard Fournette, so it wasn't.
Which was fucking stupid, by the way.
Well, listen, we all knew he was just. I think I have a feeling if Brady sent him up there, doesn't fuck with Bill.
I don't even know why Bill met with him. Like, we have 2 very good running backs.
It didn't honestly.
We have one coming off a season-ending injury who still might be good. I don't know why we're meeting with Leonard Fournette.
Because Bill Belichick is. I think Bill Belichick at this point is just worshiping chaos because he has basically every viable position under the sun. Bill Belichick holds in that front. Let's see, GM, head coach, OC, DC, special teams coordinator, head scout, president of football operations. The list of Bill's titles goes on and on and on. I think we're just gonna call it the New England Bill Patriots. Like it's just Belichick now. New England Belichick's.
I don't really care. He can do whatever the hell he wants.
If he makes the playoffs, yeah, what do you care, right?
I mean, I would like him to win Super Bowls, but he's won us enough, so he can really do whatever he wants.
Yeah, I think he's kind of earned it at this point. Oh my God, Kev. So honest to God, where do you think the first quarterback goes this year?
I
had Malik
in the 6 to 8 range.
I had Malik to the Saints at 12. I said a lot of teams. If once Atlanta fall, I think Atlanta's going to pass. Who do you think is going to go at 6 to 8? Then who do you think is going to go at that point?
Who's picking? It's the Panthers.
Oh yeah, I had Panthers to pick it. My bad. So yeah, no, I had 6.
I forget who the other ones are.
It'd be such a Panthers pick.
Yeah, I mean, I think So of course, he wants to fucking.
No, 7 is New York and 8 is Atlanta.
Yeah, so I think if it's going to be the Panthers or the Giants. Actually, if it's the Panthers, Kenny Pickett. If it's the Giants or the Falcons, it's gonna be Malik Willis.
You think the Giants will take a quarterback?
I think yes. I think if Brian Dable
is there, they would. They have 2 picks in the top 10. I think it's optional for them.
And if Dable doesn't like Danny Dimes, this is what you do. You bring in a coach who will then get a quarterback he likes. I think, and with Danny Dimes and with Mariota now in Atlanta, they don't have a need to start the guy right away. The Panthers need to start someone right away if they want to win some games.
Because I think PJ Walker might be hitting up the rock to go back to the XFL at this point.
Kenny Pickett is probably the most day one ready in this class.
Mm-hmm.
Malik Willis has the most upside.
I would also say
you need a day one starter to not fuck it up and win you some games. Kenny Pickett. If you have a guy you can sit for a year, it's Malik Willis.
I know you're doing day 2 stuff with the draft. I'm going to try to get in. I'm going to text Dan later about it. I thought I already signed up, but apparently I didn't. I basically said this already. I think Carson Strong is going to be like the best day 2 quarterback taken. Like I think this kid is going to actually he might actually get a beat out guy for a starting job eventually. This kid, Kevin, if you want to watch some fun tape, just go watch 5 minutes of Carson Strong slinging the rock. Just an absolute bazooka on his shoulders, and he has no footwork, and the ball still goes 70, 80 yards. It's insane. This kid's arm. I'm
honestly shocked Denver traded for Russell Wilson instead of just drafting Carson Strong.
Yeah, no, I like when I watched his tape back before the Russell Wilson trade, because he was one of the first guys I watched. I circled under my notes. It says John Elway probably has this kid on speed dial because he'll probably get him in the second round.
John Elway doesn't have personnel decisions anymore, but he saw Carson Strong. He just saw his height. It walked into the GM's office. If you don't draft this guy, I will blackmail you into the sun. Fuck you. Get Carson Strong in this building.
So, I think Carson Strong is going to be like what we thought Paxton Lynch was going to be, like just an absolute big cannon arm, a little mobile, kind of wonky footwork, small program. But unlike Paxton Lynch, who basically was the worst quarterback besides his own starter, Shea Patterson, in the USFL. God, Michigan's a mess. Shout out to Jeff Fisher. Mr. 7-9 is back, baby. Oh, my God.
I love it.
Did you watch that game this weekend?
Yeah, I watched some of the Michigan game.
Yeah, suck it, Parker.
Or no, some of the Birmingham, New Jersey game, actually.
I watched Birmingham, New Jersey. I tried to catch some of the Pittsburgh Maulers game because my boy Jeff Thomas from, the U is on Pittsburgh. Then I watched the whole chicken salad debacle with the running back that they cut, which I think was maybe the greatest story I saw all weekend. Oh my God!
And now they're going back and forth. It's great.
It's just, it's so funny, right? Because the XFL, The Rock is going to be fun. We know The Rock's going to play a good product. Everything he touches does good. It may not be. We also got to realize, like, these spring football leagues, they're never going to be the NFL, but they're just something to entertain us for the spring. I mean, yeah, like, listen, I'll go watch Diamondbacks baseball every night, but they already got smoked by the Nationals 6-1, so I don't have that option. Then I got my Timberwolves. So
what these leagues need to do is try to stay viable for a couple of years, just staying in the spring. I think the XFL already signed a deal with the NFL to help market a bit, and then just become like a minor league feeder program for the NFL.
Yeah.
They can't listen to a loudmouth owner who has aspirations to be president saying, no, we can compete with the NFL. We're going to move to the fall, and then sue them for having a monopoly and then get 30 cents in our lawsuit.
Jesus Christ, Kevin, we almost made the whole show that you bring up the Cheeto Puff, man.
I mean, come on, that's the dumbest thing I've ever
done. Listen, I watched
year two.
I watched that 30 for 30. I was crying. I was like, that's the most Trump thing I've ever seen in my life. Oh, I said his name. We're gonna get our video's gonna get taken down now, guys. Gotta love YouTube.
People are just gonna be mad at us for making fun of them.
No, either way. Listen, I was reading my boss, because he belongs to one of those like town pages. I guess there's a Trump rally in Middlebury.
Those are so fun.
The comments in this were hysterical. Both ways were great. See, I just pulled myself away from this shit at this point. I'm just reading the comments. He's reading to me while I'm driving home from the job site. I'm just dying. I'm like, because both sides are hysterical. But listen, that pulls us into our bet. We have 9 minutes left. We all have to go, obviously. Kevin, I'm happy you sticked around because you get to participate in your first ever Korner Booth dartboard presented by our good friends at YeatsOfficial.com. If you want great sunglasses like these or the 15,000 Kevin owns, go to our friends over at YeatsOfficial.com. Promo code Korner Booth for 10% off. They're polarized, almost Jared proof, and honestly, pretty damn stylish. They got thousands of styles. I still owe Frank a pair, and I just have not pulled the trigger on sending them yet, so that's on me. But it's okay. He's still my boy, so it's all good. But
they're also Saban proof, by the way.
They are Saban proof. Listen, did you tell me he chewed through how many pairs of shoes already?
So many.
I've
lost 3 pairs of shoes to him. I had like $160 pair of sunglasses that's supposedly made out of titanium. He destroyed them.
Yeah. Yeats are these are like I don't want to say this on air because it's like guns, but there's a certain Russian weapon that I would compare these to because they're indestructible. Anybody who's a gun nut would know why that's funny. Basically, all right, so there YeatsOfficial.com, promo code Korner Booth, 10% off, official sponsor of the Korner Booth and the Korner Booth dartboard. So now I'm gonna lose blood flow in my thigh for the next 10 minutes because I have an actual fucking dartboard here. So, Savannah, it is your first time back off vacation. Who would you like to put on your Korner Booth dartboard this week?
And we're
anybody in sports. Last week I did LeBron James for talking shit about my Timberwolves when he didn't even make the playoffs. The week before, I think I put Adam Shortstack from ESPN. It's like anybody, and you just give an explanation why he's right here. He or she's right there.
Yeah.
Kevin, you even got to come up with them too. I know you got a couple in your holster.
Yeah, Kevin, go ahead. I'll give me a minute to think.
Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, I knew it right away.
Kyrie Irving is going to come out. He's going to call the city of Boston racist. He's going to call us a bunch of jealous exes. And then he's going to say he wants to put it all behind him. And then he's going to scream at fans and flip them off. Kyrie Irving, and I tweeted this, Kyrie Irving is like the jealous ex. Not even jealous, the one who broke up with you, but then calls you once a week to tell you how much better they're doing and how over you they are.
Kevin, I wanted to respond to this, and I still have the tweet in my drafts, but Dan was looking over my shoulder while I was trying to scrub a floor. I wanted to respond. This may be from personal experience, isn't it, buddy?
No, actually.
Yeah, for once, with you and me, our combined horrible ex history, Kev, I think, honestly, we don't have that ex in our lives. I mean, Savannah, me and Kev have been friends so long, we both know each other's bad record book of horrible exes. I mean, listen, you could even contribute yours to here too. We don't know. But so this week on my Korner Booth dartboard, I'd like to put the Arizona Diamondbacks hitting coach. I won't even say his fucking name. One, because I don't remember it. But if I see one more taken first strike on a 93-mile-an-hour fastball down Main Street with a team full of 24-year-old guys who like to swing the bat, I may snap this board in half. You don't win in baseball with young players by working the count. That's how you strike out with young hitters. Pitch maturity comes as you get older and better. Ask Albert Pujols, Mike Trout, Alex Rodriguez, David Ortiz, Manny Ramirez. I could go on and on and on. Here's the kicker, ladies and gents. My Diamondbacks actually somehow have good pitching this year. I don't get it. It's a bunch of B-team guys and Zach Gallen and the ghost of Madison Bumgarner. And yet they're actually in Mark Melancon, who is fucking filthy. They actually have a decent pitching staff and bullpen. They even got Oliver Perez, who I thought was dead, to pitch decent out of the bullpen. Yeah, he was good when I was in middle school. That's how old that motherfucker is. I'm old. So here's the deal. The Diamondbacks hitting coach and you dumbass Torey Lovello right here. Jesus, swing at a first pitch strike. I'm done with this. Dylan Varsho hit a ball to almost to Virginia today because he swung on the first pitch. He's probably going to get benched tomorrow. Fucking assholes. All right, Savannah, last but not least, who are you putting up here?
Okay, I'm going to yell at the Browns front office for giving Denzel Ward $100 million freaking dollars. That's what I'm
good. That was the last thing on our topic list.
It makes me so mad. Like, he's a good corner, right? But, like, when was the last time that he literally played multiple games in a row without being injured? Tell me that. Like, you cannot give me a stretch of 3 to 4 games in the last few seasons that he's played that he's been on the field.
Okay. So I know where you're going with this because you guys have to pay a certain corner. But then again, he also missed a lot of games this year too. And also Ty Schmidt of the Pat McAfee show made the same argument today. And I thought, fuck, Savannah's going to say the same fucking thing in about 5 hours.
Yeah, literally, it makes me so mad because, yes, we do have to pay Jair. I get it. He had only missed 1 game before this season that he missed. Like, he was out almost the entire season, and he came back for the playoff game, and he looked really good. But the thing is he doesn't consistently miss games, and it just makes me mad that, yes, you can be great, but even though you're always hurt, you can still just make an absurd amount of money, and I don't think that's fair to other teams that have to pay. Then
again, we've established the fucking Browns don't care about what's fair. They're going to
have 430 cap space gone. Like, they're not going to even if we take my team out of it, like, I don't think Denzel Ward deserves $100 million.
The salary cap's a fraud. We all know it.
I know.
Kev, you were chuckling. You got something to say. Go for it.
Oh, I was just laughing at the playoff game. You have Aaron Rodgers at home, the playoff
You're butthead. What else?
You can also just call him an asshole, Savannah. It was
just funny. I just found it really funny.
Well, also, Savannah, it makes you feel any better. Both of our teams also got smoked in the wild card round too, so it's
mine wasn't the wild card.
I know exactly. But yours was the first year. Well, y'all got his team got smoked by the Bills. Mine got smoked by Brady, and at least you guys had a bye.
Yeah, we did have a bye, and then we lost to a team that can't even score an offensive touchdown. How awesome.
That was okay. I was at the bar for that game. I was wasted, and I look up at the score, and I got a text from my buddy, who's a Packers fan, who's in New York. Shout out to my boy Sean. Kevin knows Sean. Madden League champ. He texted me, he goes, "What the fuck just happened?" I'm like,
yeah,
I think y'all lost to a special teams unit.
We did. Oh, when they scored that touchdown, I was like, I hate my life. This game's over. I thought we were going to win. Like, I understand our offense wasn't doing great. I thought we were going to win. I was just like, even if we only win by 7 or 4, this is great. I'm chilling. And then they got that touchdown, and I said, oh, this game's over. It's over.
Okay, now I get a feeling back in my leg. That's a heavy piece of plywood. No ghost content today, folks. The little monster is passed out on my couch right now. Kevin, I know you missed your ghost content.
So much.
I mean, you can come down and visit him whenever you want, pal.
Fair.
Last couple things. Any final notes before we sign off, boys and girls?
Oh, I have one. Nate Duncan, whoever the fuck you are, you're the dumbest basketball analysis I've ever seen any thought sport in my life.
Him out. Who the fuck fuck is Nate
Absolutely.
Duncan?
I don't know, but he's verified on Twitter at Nate Duncan NBA, you dunce. Like,
I'm guessing he's kissing Kyrie's ass.
No, absolutely nobody in the league believes Marcus Smart is as good a defensive player as Rudy Gobert. That's why Rudy is on a supermax and Smart is making $19 million a year.
Also, Rudy Gobert.
Since when are contracts the litmus test for how good a player is? Like, guess what, guys? Andrew Wiggins, Gordon Hayward, they should be in the MVP conversation because they make more than Embiid and Jokic.
Also, guys, the second best receiver in football, Christian Kirk.
Second best. He's better than Tyreek Hill, easy.
Oh yeah, better than Tyreek Hill. He's better than Devontae. He's better than Devontae Smith, Devontae Adams. Like, guys, like, I think he's underpaid. I think he paid more than Devontae Adams. The slant god himself, Mike Smith, Mike Thomas. Like, come on, we know how this goes. Oh my god, I love when they make that shit. Oh my god.
Like, this dude's on a fucking horrendous contract. No, he's good.
Also, Rudy Gobert started the pandemic. So yeah, there it is. You remember we licked all those microphones?
Did you see Donovan Mitchell passes him the ball twice a game?
Yeah, they fucking hate each other, and it makes me so happy that they're still in the same fucking team.
Well, yeah, Rudy Gobert's really good. He's on a supermax. Why would you trade him?
Exactly. You can't. Oh god, NBA contracts are a fucking joke. All right, we got to roll, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate our guest Parker Ainsworth of Midweek Midrange and the FN Sports, and my good friend and host of the Talegate and the Quad podcast. They're on a hiatus, obviously, because it's college. Are you guys doing a college spring game episode or no?
Probably not.
Probably not. All right. Well, they'll be back in August, or probably do an episode or two for their previews, obviously, which I'll be on the ACC preview as usual, because
as usual, all one time we've had it.
Well, you're only one season in, motherfucker. What else are you gonna do? All right, you can find them at Talegate Quad, and also that
at
handsome
Quad
devil
Talegate.
At Quad Talegate. Wow, I can't believe I always fuck that up. And that handsome devil below me at Belly Up Kev. You can follow this amazing girl next to me at Savdean on Sports for everything Bucks, Packers, and Buckeyes. You can also, if you really want to subject yourself to this, follow my depressing tweets at Belly Up Jared. Except actually, my teams are actually good this year, except for fucking Arizona. Just go jackhammer you away and let you float off to Mexico. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Korner Booth podcast. Shout out to our official sponsor, Yeats, and our possible soon-to-be sponsor, because I'm going to hound them until they do. Canada Dips. Love this shit. Have a good one, folks. Appreciate you stopping by. Live show Thursday. Appreciate you coming through.